nostalgic.
Welcome to Wax Nostalgic, a podcast where we turn the clock back to the good old days. I'm your co-host, Graham Johnstone.
I'm Sammy Disco Savage.
And I'm Ryan Kerwin.
Pun Daddy.
Pun Daddy extraordinaire.
Ryan Kerwin.
Esquire.
So, welcome back. We're excited to record another episode of this podcast. I'm going to be bringing a little bit of a nasal energy to the table today. Have a little bit of a head cold, unfortunately.
Now he tells us.
Yeah, I told Grandma.
Now we're
already.
locked in this room with him.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think it's
right.
contagious at this point. I'm like on the very tail end. But if, next week these guys are sick, then sorry.
That's right. I guess you guys will find out along with us.
Yeah.
Keep you abreast of the journey.
Yeah. Well,
Off
live
to a
tweet.
good start.
Sorry, not live tweet. What do you do now? Live X?
Yeah, you live X.
Yeah.
You live X, you live truth.
My ex is
You're on
still
Donald
alive.
Trump's.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Your X, live X.
That's,
Yeah,
and
Live X.
that's your story and you're
This
sticking
is
to
Live
it?
X, a show where we put you in a room with your ex-girlfriends and boyfriends.
That
It's
sounds,
not super fun.
Yeah, it sounds
Doesn't sound like it.
dramatic.
Sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So USA Network, if you're watching.
Speaking of ex-girlfriends, today we're going to be talking about babysitters.
Oh,
Boy,
wow.
I hope your story connects those dots.
It
Yeah.
does not, unfortunately. Yeah, we're going to talk about babysitters and things we remember from when we were kids and had to be watched by a responsible or not so responsible adult.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want to get started? I can.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I have a couple of fun babysitter stories. Baby stories.
Yeah.
One is short and one is definitely more fun and longer. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even recall how old I was, but young enough to be babysat. And we had a babysitter who was one of our family friends' daughters, who was probably in high school at the time.
Yeah.
And there was one time she came over and she had one of her friends come too, and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they were drinking and hanging out while they were watching us.
Wow, how irresponsible.
They
Yeah.
microwaved some popcorn and burned the fuck out of the popcorn and smoked out the whole house.
Oh, no.
And our whole house smelled like smoke for weeks after that.
Geez.
My dad owns a carpet cleaning company and he has a machine called an ozone machine.
Oh, I've heard of these. Yeah, yeah.
Basically,
Your dad had to professionally clean your
Yeah,
house.
He
Oh,
had to
man.
it's like an ozone machine, and what it does is it filters the air, so it puts out ozone, which is oxygen with another, or it's O2 with it's
Yeah,
O3.
isn't it O3? Yeah.
It's O3.
Whoa,
so
it's
you have
an extra O.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have an added
Ooh.
oxygen molecule, and so
Oh!
it helps clean out the air basically, and whatever. So he had to
Does it make you high? Does it?
you can't be in
Right, I
there
think it
because it's
kills you.
dangerous.
Yeah.
So you can't
Wow,
have
no
animals
kid.
and stuff.
I was actually kind of a joke, but wow, that's
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you can't be in there for a prolonged amount of time,
Amazing.
so you have to vacate the house, ozone the house out, and then turn it off and let the hit.
So does the
house.
extra? Does the third O does it trap
I think so.
bad smells or something?
I think so, but honestly,
We'll say yes.
I don't
Is
know
it
how
like
the
is it like
chemistry
Febreze
works.
on crack?
Yeah, super Febreze. Yes,
Okay.
Febreze on Ritalin. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she
Yes,
just
continue.
stunk up the whole house, and it was this horrible burned popcorn smell. You smelled burned
Oh,
popcorn.
dude, it's
but I'm
terrible.
No,
Pretty
I've
sure
only
she
ever made perfect
microwaved the
popcorn.
popcorn
I'm
for
just
10 minutes or something,
Oh,
and just
no.
forgot about it
Dude,
because she was
so
hanging out with her
did
friend.
the bag catch on fire?
yeah, yeah, dude, it was really bad, and my parents were really upset about
Oh
it.
man.
Wow.
So I remember that.
Was her defense, to be fair, we were drunk.
No, I don't. Maybe, but I don't remember. But I do remember she had her friend over, and we were kind of all bothered because it was oh, she's just hanging out with her friend, and we're not
Yeah.
really getting any attention or whatever. She's just go to bed, whatever. And then that was the last time she was our babysitter.
Sure it was.
And then, much love to this person, my
Much
aunt. Well, my technically, I don't know exactly how we've had this conversation before, but it's my uncle's
Twice removed.
sister.
Okay.
So my uncle, who is by marriage.
Well, you know about all this, like.
I know
family.
cousins. I don't know about uncles, sisters.
Yeah, so it's my aunt, who is my blood relative, her husband, who is my uncle by marriage, his sister. So we call her Aunt Julie, but she's not technically like blood by any means.
Yeah.
But she was always like the emergency babysitter if like other people didn't work. But again, if you're listening to this, Julie, much love to you. You're awesome. I really enjoy being around you now. But when we were kids, when we were kids, we just were like, we don't want Julie to be our babysitter or whatever.
Yeah.
And so one time, my brother and I shared a room together at the time, and at one point we like went off to bed, and she was like hanging out watching a movie or doing whatever before my parents got home, and my brother and I came up with this great idea for me to put on all of the underwear that both him and I had. So like, like whitey tighties at the time were like little kids, and I probably had like 40 pairs of underwear on.
Oh my
it just
God.
was like like a diaper. It was like this massive bulky thing of underwear, and then I was like, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh no, of course.
So I like walk out into the hall, and I'm like, Julie, I need help. And she's like, what did you do? And so we're like peeling off, just like I couldn't get them all off in time, and I'm like, so like she's helping me, and we're just peeling off like layer by layer by layer of just underpants for like 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure I managed to get out of them, but she was like not happy about that.
What? She wasn't happy about that?
And I'm
How long
pretty
did it take you to put them on?
probably a long
'Cause, I mean, I imagine
Yeah.
they were pretty stretched out.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of them were stretched out, and so my parents were like
Oh,
upset because
yeah.
they're
Pissed
like,
about
these
that.
like now we have to buy like 20 new pairs of
Yeah.
underwear for you and your brother because you ruined all of them for what?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to be obnoxious.
I don't know why. It's just really funny to me
Yeah.
thinking about that.
No, there's something about being a little kid, and maybe specifically a boy, where
Mm-hmm.
stupid things like that just seem to make the most sense.
Oh yeah, it's
And you're
dude,
there 30
Oh, yeah.
minutes in putting on underwear, and you're just like, this is going to be great. I don't know why.
Or
Yeah,
you
this is
just,
gonna be
or
so
like
funny.
you're like, this is so funny, but you're the only one that thinks that.
Right.
Everybody else
Right.
is like,
I'm
like,
pretty
all
sure
the
my
adults
brother
are
thought
like,
it was really funny too, but we were kids
'Cause
at the
he wasn't
time,
the
and
one
she
wearing
was
them.
not happy, and my parents were not happy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just remember like up on my balcony. My bedroom is on one side of the hallway, and the bathroom was on the other side, and so I had to like walk across, and there's like the balcony that you can see, and I'm just standing there like, Julie, I need help. I need help. I have 40 pairs of underwear on right now, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure she was just like, God damn it, these
Yeah.
stupid kids.
I wish I wasn't their uncle's sister.
Yeah, she like, I don't know why we didn't like her. Maybe because she just didn't let us get away with stuff.
Right.
Whereas
Probably,
other
yeah.
babysitters did,
Oh, yeah.
teenagers or whatever. They're
Did
like,
you,
oh, whoops, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Did you try to like pull 40 flies?
I probably did try and was like, this isn't working, and I couldn't get them all off at once because it was
man.
too tight. And I
Yeah.
was just like, so I'm like stripping layer by layer of whitey tighties off of my like 10-year-old body, like, like
I'm surprised that
That's
Julie
really
didn't
funny.
just take some scissors to it.
I don't really remember. She might have had to at some point because my parents were definitely like, we have to buy you a shit ton of new underwear because you did this. Like, why did you do this? I'm like, I thought it would be funny, and they're like, it wasn't funny. Sorry,
Yeah.
dude. But now I'm 31 years old, sitting on a podcast talking about it and getting some laughs from my boys. So
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
guessing it was funny.
I
I'm
think
interested-
it was a long payoff,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
worth it
It's
now.
the long,
Yeah, it's a
long game.
The longest payoff ever.
Right,
The longest
exactly.
gamble, I should say.
Yeah, you knew it would be worth it. You just didn't know how long it would take.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish there was some pictures, honestly.
And you
like,
did it for the
Yeah.
laughs, and it worked. I
Did
mean,
it for the
That's
meme.
right. Listen, if you want pictures, you can always recreate it.
Yeah, I might have to.
Oh,
when-
Show
when
up
we
to
get
my
our
next
puppets.
family party like, Julie, I need help.
Did you just walk out in your
She's just
underwear?
Like, she's just like, God,
Dude, when you make our puppets, we should put.
make
We should
an
do that.
underwear
Yeah.
segment for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna make some puppets
Yeah.
of us and do some puppet stuff. So look forward
I
to
hope
that.
you're into puppet stuff.
That's right, but I hope you also don't expect professional-looking puppets.
No, they're gonna be pro.
Okay.
I just haven't
Oh, they
decided
are?
if they're gonna be like hand puppets
Oh,
or
yeah.
if they're gonna be just like little miniatures. I
you-
haven't
Oh, yeah.
decided
You
yet.
should make them in the like in the image of like Jim Henson, like
Yeah.
characters.
They should all just look like Jim Henson. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it would be pretty easy to make like little Muppets of us.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Yeah.
easy. I know some people who do puppet stuff, and
Mhm.
I know that it takes like craftsmanship. It's not going to be just like,
Yeah.
oh, I shit these out. But I'm excited.
Or we
about it.
could
I
do
think
like
it'd be
sock
fun.
puppets.
Just
That's true.
like one with red on top, one with long like
And glasses.
shoelaces and
Yeah.
glasses, and then one with just brown.
Yeah.
With just brown.
I mean, when there's only 3 people you're trying to depict, it's pretty easy to differentiate them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We are different looking.
We'd all be white socks too.
that
Yeah.
is true. Yeah,
Yeah, we have no black socks on this podcast.
that's true.
should-
Yeah.
Maybe we should have some guest appearances.
I think we should
Yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah.
anyway, that
Alright.
concludes my segment
Okay.
on babysitter stuff, and I
Mhm.
hope that you guys enjoyed it. So yeah,
I found it amusing.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
found it amusing.
amusing.
Amusing, very amusing, very funny.
Yes. Quite
I laugh
droll.
a lot.
Yes.
I can share.
Go.
I can share. Can I
Do.
share with the group?
Please.
Yes. B.
B. All right. So the first ever memory I have of a babysitter was I was in the first house we were ever in, and I was probably 4.
Okay.
All right.
I would say 4, because I think that was like my earliest memories was around that time, and I used to like go up on the roof with my dad and like just work with my dad around the house and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think at one point we went up there, me and my dad and my mom or whatever, to watch fireworks, and it was like it was a single level house.
Okay.
It was like a ranch style house. So at some point I just got the idea, being the precocious young child that I was,
As we've discussed.
Mm-hmm.
that I think I was like, the ladder was there, and I was like, I'm gonna go up on the roof, and I'm just like hanging out up on the roof, a fucking 4-year-old kid.
Oh boy.
Yes.
And all I
love
remember is
this.
the babysitter runs out of the house. She's like freaking the fuck out. Get off the roof! What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just up here because this is like we were up here last week or something like that. And like
Mhm.
I don't remember exactly why I was up there, but I think I was just like, this is a good idea. Like
Oh boy. This is how you.
Seriously contributing to this poor girl's trauma.
I was gonna say this is how you give a babysitter a heart attack.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was so mad. I didn't know why. I was like, but I know what I'm doing. I know, whatever. And it's like, no, you like probably don't. You're like,
Yeah.
thinking back, like she was right to be like freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to like, I don't even know, a couple years later, probably, there was this girl, I think she like went to our church or something, but like my mom would like have her babysit me, and I was like a little bit older at this point, probably like 5. And I told you guys this story before, but she would always bring over this movie, this like kid. It was a movie, and there was like pirate ship and these kids,
Mhm.
and and they're like exploring, and it was like full of adventure, and I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I loved it, and she would bring it over every time, and every time she'd watch me, like, did you bring the movie? Did you bring the movie?
Mhm.
And so then like,
Doing the truffle shuffle.
yeah, exactly. So, but I never knew the name of the movie.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I never knew the name of the movie. So then, like in my 20s, I'm hanging out with my friends, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the Goonies. You know this movie?" I'm like, "I've never
Mhm.
seen that movie."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh my god, you've
What?
never seen the Goonies?" I'm like, "No, I don't think I've ever seen that."
Mhm.
And then we just start watching it one day, like randomly, and I was like, holy shit, it like clicked. And I was like, this is the movie that I loved as a kid. Oh my god, like how did I not know that this was the
You
movie?
guys have seen my babysitter's movie? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just core memory unlocked at that moment.
It
You're
was.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is it. Like,
Yeah.
I've
And I
had a
think
couple of those moments.
wasn't there a scene
Mhm.
where like the pirate like the skull pops out and he has got the eye patch or he like lifts the eye patch or something.
Sounds
I
right.
think so.
I
Yeah.
can't
It's been
remember
a long enough
yeah.
time, but
But I remember that scene specifically because it was so like as a little
Spooked
kid
ya.
you're kind of like scared,
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I saw that I was like, oh yeah, this was the movie. This was the movie.
yeah, walking
Yeah.
around to your friends like, yeah, Goonies never say die. I think that's from a movie, but I don't remember what movie it's from. And they're like, Goonies. You're like, no, that's not the one.
No,
I'd remember. I'd
No,
remember
I think
that.
I
Yeah.
remember that. That's funny though.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, and then years later we saw her, and she ended up being kind of like a troubled youth.
Was it the same one that you from the roof thing? Same
No.
girl? Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
There was the
I was
other.
gonna say it's all coming together.
I don't remember.
Repent.
I don't remember who she was. I just remember like that specific like thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, the other girl was like when I remember seeing her when she was like late teens, early 20s, and she kind of like was like she was always getting into trouble and stuff. She was cool though. I remember I really liked her. Like
cool people often get in trouble.
Well, like she was like I think she was
shtick.
kind of like she was always like kind of like the free spirit type, like whatever, and probably like I don't know.
She stopped babysitting you after she got several tattoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Your parents are like, no.
That's right.
No.
that other babysitter kept putting him on the roof. This one's got tattoos. Who knows what she'll do? Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then so I mean I can talk about one more experience because I think that this is where the idea when we were talking about this is where the idea kind of came from was like so then later on, and this was probably when I was like 5 or 6, like we had moved into our new house or whatever, like the house that I really kind of grew up in. There was some friends that we had that lived like in the neighborhood, but the dude's mom was like a kind of like ran like a underground daycare facility, like kind of thing. Like,
do tell, explain more.
Well, so
just like didn't pay taxes on it.
Well, I don't think. Well, I'm not so sure about that, but I don't think she was like licensed. Like it wasn't like a licensed thing. Like it wasn't like a like above board per se operation.
It was a local nice lady.
Yeah,
who was
she was kind of just like my I'm stay at home.
Sure.
Mom, and I have room, and I want to take care of your kids if you want, kind of thing. And
yeah,
so sometimes I'd go over there, and it was just like me and her kids hanging out, and then other times I go over and there was like other kids hanging out and stuff. So, but she would take care of me. I don't know, probably like a couple times a week, maybe or whatever. So I was like over there a lot, and
do you remember her name?
Colleen, I think.
Okay, just curious.
And
I
then
had somebody like that too for a while named Carissa.
And so that was actually where her son Merle Michael.
That's like a hyphenated first name or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Merle
Michael.
She decided to start taking care of kids in daycare because she's like, I fucked up on mine.
Right, yeah. I gotta,
what was I thinking?
Gotta atone for that one.
Well, I think, so I'm trying to remember exactly, this is a long time ago, but I think his dad's name was Merle.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. So like they kind of like put the two of them together.
Yeah.
Instead of like a Merle Jr. or something,
right.
It was like, you still have your dad's name, but like you got your name too.
Right.
So
kind of like an Arrested Development with Michael and George Michael. Yeah.
George Michael, exactly. So, but that was the first time that I was ever played Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And dude, that was like what I was like always like so excited to go over and like, cause he had the Tetris. Dude, I remember that was the first time I played Battletoads. Which I loved Battletoads, man. I remember playing that so much.
Nice, that's fun.
Yeah.
Good old Game Boy. That's for a different episode.
Yeah. I mean, I could, like like we say, we have tons of content about video games, but like
go for
that was. But then I had the Game Gear at some point, and so it was always
which
like
was stolen on a cruise.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yeah.
We all know the lore.
It was stolen I think it was stolen at the airport. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, and then she used to take us to all right, so I'll stop talking soon, but they had a I don't know if you guys remember those like 1970s station wagons. It was like a Chevy station wagon thing, but in the back it had a door that opened like sideways.
Okay.
And in the back it had a seat. Like
a
whole
like
seat
this
that looked
backward
out the
facing.
backward,
Yes,
out the
my
back
aunt
window.
And uncle had one of those when I was a kid. Yeah.
So we would always so lunchtime rolls around, we would always load in the back of that, and me and him would always sit in the back, which was super cool.
That was the
It
coolest.
was like it was like our own little area too. Like we were sequestered from the adults
like
and
a little
stuff.
clubhouse.
Yeah, and you can wave at cars at stoplights.
Yeah, exactly. So then she would always take us to hamburger stand because I believe and don't quote me on this specifically,
I won't.
but
I will.
I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe at one point the hamburgers were 5 cents or something.
Whoa.
You had
What
to-
was this, the 1920s?
Yeah, or they were like 50 cents, or it was something 5 or 50. It was very like cheap ass. But you had to buy like this giant pack. It was like 10 hamburgers.
Come on
and
down
stuff.
to the burger
Yeah.
stand, and you can get 400 burgers for 5 cents a piece.
That's right. Is it cow meat? We won't tell.
Yeah, nobody knows. Is it horse meat? Could
Yeah.
be.
Coming out of the Great Depression.
That's right. Into the only slightly depressed because what am I eating? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have. I don't know. I think there's still some hamburger stands around, but that's what I remember
I
about
think
it.
there might be one down in Colorado Springs.
And the
Yeah.
hamburgers, I mean, they were like this. They were like little
Yeah, like
tiny
little
ass
sliders.
things. Yeah. But,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I want to believe that Colleen was not intentionally breaking the law with her illicit daycare center.
Yeah.
I want to believe that she was just a pushover and people just kept leaving their kids.
They didn't even pay her. They're just
Right.
like, here you go.
I love how I love how it's like illicit daycare. It's
The Underground Railroad
Yeah.
for toddlers.
I know, I was like-
Statute of limitations has passed. We can talk about
I
how
made it-
illegal
I make
was.
we
it
don't
sound-
even know if her name was really Colleen.
Right,
They
right.
make
Could have been
it
an
sound
alias.
like she's running like some kind of like like child exploitation like scheme. Or
Well, you did make a
something.
lot of license plates while you were there, didn't you?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
weird how
I
her
did sew
grass
a lot-
was
I did
always
sew a lot
perfectly
of,
mowed.
Yeah.
A lot of cheap clothing
Yeah.
with
Right.
like those Super Bowl logos on it and stuff.
Her
Yeah.
walls were
Yeah.
always beautifully painted, changed colors every few weeks. Lawn was always perfectly well kempt.
Right.
Yeah,
Kempt.
well kempt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well kept.
Well kempt.
She trained you on how to be a good house person.
House person.
That's right. Is that why?
Oh, dude, they had a trampoline too. That was the most fun.
Oh, trampolines.
Like a
yeah.
giant trampoline in the
That's how
backyard.
you know that she didn't have a license, because they would not allow that shit.
Trampolines are death traps. Yeah.
Dude, well, it didn't. I mean, this was the '90s, so it didn't have the like padded thing around the springs.
Right.
Or the like.
Right. They all
you
have
know,
like those.
Oh yeah,
fences
oh yeah,
now.
no, none of that, man. It was
Yeah.
just like you gotta like be on it to make sure you don't.
Right.
Do the
Stick your leg
splits.
down between. Yeah.
Springs are all rusted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good times.
that was
Hell
fun.
yeah, I do love me a
That's fun.
trampoline.
Yeah.
Me too.
Trampolines are fun until you tear your ACL, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah. You didn't
Or
bring
maybe I
that to
told
our
that-
injuries.
Did I not?
No.
Oh,
you
okay.
didn't
I was in
tell
my
that.
20s when I did that, so it wasn't
Yeah.
a childhood tale, which is probably
We're
why
gonna
I
do
tore my
Wax
ACL.
Nostalgic 2.0, the
That's right.
podcast of us when we were adults.
That's right. We're going to talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
soft tissue injuries
Wayne
at that point.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
Wayne and nostalgia.
Just like waxing and waning.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I just was making sure you weren't thinking like party on Wayne.
Wayne, yeah.
party on wax. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, nostalgic.
I can go.
Yeah, go
Ryan,
ahead.
would you like to tell us about Babysitters?
Sure, I'll tell you about every babysitter in the world.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I notoriously have a bit of a bad memory, which is funny for me to do this podcast where it's all about memories. I don't remember many specific babysitters. There's one in particular I do remember, but I also remember just like my pattern of behavior with babysitters.
How many pairs of underwear?
3. I kept it reasonable.
But he soiled himself.
That's right. It was out of necessity.
One at a time.
Yeah. I was just so excited.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
But no, yeah, I was the youngest of my siblings, and always a bit of a show off, which a big surprise. I'm doing improv and stuff now.
Yeah. Center of attention.
Yeah, gotta be. But you're in the middle seat, so that's
right.
always bothered me. Just kidding.
The fanciest microphone.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's Sam's microphone.
Makes my voice sound like smooth butter.
That's true. But it doesn't talk.
And then I edit all of that out in post and just make him sound like a regular person.
That's right.
Anyway, Ryan, would you like to tell your story?
Sure, yeah. So I was always just a little show off, like I'd be jumping on the furniture. There's one thing that sticks in my memory, which I haven't thought about in years, but I'm pretty sure it happened, where I just like had a pillow from the couch just like in my mouth, and I would not let go of it with my teeth, and the babysitter's just like, Ryan, please, you gotta let go of that. And because I was getting attention, I just wouldn't let go of it. So for like at least an hour I probably had this pillow in my mouth, just getting like soaked in drool.
Yum.
Yeah, just like the best kid ever.
That's like the one time I decided that I wanted to be like my dog. So I started picking up like stuffed toys with my mouth.
And you were in college, or
This
That was like 2 weeks
this was
ago,
last
man.
Tuesday,
oh
man.
my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, no, it's gross. We have a lot of
Yeah.
spit in our mouths, as do dogs, but I guess they don't care. But I think this was the babysitter, who's the one I remember. Her name was Gwen. This was when we lived in New Zealand, so I was like
Oh,
ages
Gwen.
4 through 6.
Is it like Gwendolyn or Gwendola.
Probably something. I don't know.
Gwendola.
Guinevere.
Guinevere?
Yeah.
I like Gwendolyn still the most.
Yeah.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah. She probably had a full name, but it was not known to me. But yeah, she was a cool babysitter. She was probably like an early teen, something like that. So like my siblings and I were between ages of like. I'm ignoring that. No, my siblings and I were between like ages like 4 and 7. My sister's 3 years older than me, and so she was a teenager. And then years went by. We moved around a little bit. When we were living in England, which was from my age 8 through 12-ish. At one point, we made a trip to Ireland, and I can't remember how this ended up happening, but for some reason, Gwen, who happened to be in the UK at the time, came on our family trip to Ireland from England.
Wow.
Being a Kiwi who lived in New Zealand. So I don't remember at all how that happened, but it's just like, oh yeah, you remember your old babysitter Gwen? And I'm like, kind of, I guess. I remember being a bit of a dick, But yeah, she came on our trip with us, and I don't know, we had fun. Haven't spoken to her since.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's weird. Was she like, do you know if she was like a friend of the family prior to babysitting you, or if they just became friends, or if it was just total serendipity? It was just
she
like,
trying to
hey,
get a free ride.
like,
Yeah,
hey,
no, I
I'll
don't
watch
know.
your kids, and they're like, well, they're like 15.
Yeah.
I'll still watch them. Does
Right.
one guy still walk around with pillows in his mouth? Like,
Exactly. No, I have no idea. It was a pretty like small community we were in New Zealand, so I wouldn't be surprised if she just got like connected with our family through some channel somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea how she ended up in Ireland with my family.
it's weird. It's fun.
Yeah, I should ask my mom because
Should hit her up.
she'll know. Yeah,
She was
Yeah.
single.
Hey, why don't we get her on the pod?
Yeah.
we should. Yeah, that's right.
Dial
yeah.
her in.
Yeah, we'll just get all of our old babysitters.
That's right.
Get
Yeah,
Colleen and Julie.
this is
and
the first spin-off from Wax Nostalgic.
Gwen.
It's Wax Babysitter.
Yeah, babysitter
Baby
nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
Wax,
Babysitter nostalgic.
Yeah.
wax babysitters.
But yeah, so that was.
Wax.
But I think I did have that similar experience with like the older women in the community who would kind of look after people. In fact,
Yes, the MILF.
yeah, I probably in our injuries episode talked about getting stitches in my lip.
I think you did. Yeah.
And I do believe that was when this like slightly older woman in the community was looking after a group of us, and I was just like messing around, standing on a chair, tripped over the arm, So like, yeah, I think that is a common
Trying to get
archetype
attention.
of just like
Yeah.
older
Oh,
women
yes.
in the community.
Yeah.
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 They've outlived their usefulness in other ways, and they're ready to take on the children.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yes. Thank you for not putting words in my mouth because they were already there.
You've been talking to JD Vance recently?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, on that topic of women's role in society.
Wow, this just turned into a really like.
I'm ready for this. Go,
Well, no,
go.
This is a very masterful segue because I'm curious if you guys ever
segue.
babysat while you were kids.
Never babysat. I mean, maybe like I stayed at home with my younger siblings when
Yeah.
I was old enough to do it, but
Right.
besides that, no.
Yeah. You?
Never like. I was never like. Nobody ever was like, you are in charge of my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but there was a girl that like lived in the neighborhood, but it was more like it was like everybody, like my parents and me would like babysit
Sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I never was like, I don't think anybody trusted me with their kid.
I was the
and
manager
I don't really
of a bike
blame them.
shop,
Like,
so that kind of counts as babysitting.
That's true.
Most
Zing.
bike shop employees are
Yeah.
yeah.
children.
No, I only babysat like a handful of times, and it was like I think almost exclusively jobs that my sister had gotten, and then something came up, and so I had to take over. But it is interesting, isn't it? That like
Yeah, that is.
we just have decided that like boys don't babysit, but girls are totally fine to like
Yeah.
look after a house on their own for hours at a time. And
I think it's. I mean, I think it comes down to the fact that teenage boys are bad. Like, I mean,
teenage
like,
girls are pretty bad too.
that's true, but
Yeah.
like not to say that all teenage boys do this or most even, but you would see like more like sexual deviancy. I feel like from like a teenage boy
Oh,
versus
that might
like
be
a
what it
teenage
is, yeah.
girl, and so parents would rather trust their kid with a girl who they're
Yeah.
not concerned is going to be doing something.
Oh, this
Yeah,
took a
but-
dark turn.
But
yeah, I mean,
not
yeah,
even
that's
that. Like, I
fucked,
mean,
but-
that's
Yeah.
pretty dark. But like, I would even go as far as to say like, generally speaking, I think society views young women or whatever as being just more responsible overall.
Mhm.
Right.
and like the whole frontal cortex like thing hasn't developed. Like girls, they say girls tend to develop more mature. They're like 2 years more mature than they actually are.
Yeah, matronly instincts.
Well, yeah, not even that, but just maturity in general, I think.
Yeah, if I babysitted when I was a teenager, those kids would not have fingers because of fireworks. I loved fireworks.
Yeah, or like, I would probably be like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, whatever. Like,
That's essentially what I did. There's 2 times I can remember when we lived in Japan. So I would have been like, I don't know, 15 or something like that. And these kids would have been, I don't know how old kids are, 8, 9, something like that. Some of them I think were younger, but it was just like, all right, your parents said we can watch a movie before you go to bed. Here, let's put on this movie. Okay, movie's over. You need to go to bed. What's that? You want to watch another movie? All right, why not?
Cool.
So I pretty much babysat the same way that I treat myself these days, where I'm like, I'm going to watch one more episode of TV, and then I'm going to go to bed. You know what? One more.
It's midnight. Should I order a pizza now?
Right. So I think these kids, like, their parents told me later, it's like, yeah, they really enjoyed having you babysit them. I'm like, no kidding.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Because I just let them do whatever they wanted.
Right.
Call me in 10 years and tell me how they turned out.
Yeah, the one time I babysat them was like the core memory that set them on the wrong path. Yeah. If they hadn't watched.
Then they found a tape in the trash. With Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh,
swearing.
no.
That's a call
back to
another
the last
episode.
2 episodes ago. The fun episode of swearing. If you didn't listen to that, you should, unless you're my parents, and then don't.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not your parents, so I'll listen to it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's just funny that babysitting is such a gendered thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder if that'll ever change. Probably not.
Who knows? Maybe the robots will do it now.
Yeah, AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems even more
Chat
terrifying.
GPT babysits me. Baby tits me.
Dude, have you guys seen, by the way, have you guys seen the little bit of attention? Have you seen the new robots that actually look, they're made for like house chores or something, and they actually look and move like humans?
Nope, but it's bound to come.
Speaking
I've
of
seen that
that,
robot.
Yeah.
Will
it's
Smith
like,
told me all about this. I'm terrified.
That's right.
It's yeah, I can see that potentially happening, but would anybody really trust like a robot with their kids or whatever? Like, I feel like
maybe not with their kids. If
because,
it's like a rich couple that doesn't have kids, and they're like, we just need somebody to clean the house.
I think it'd be hard to be one of the early adopters. I mean, I know you'll get like better rates, but I think like they want to prove out all those bugs. So like your baby isn't the one that gets squished by accident.
We've all been kids, and if you're a kid and you sense weakness or something like
you're going to exploit it.
This stupid like we're gonna mess with this machine, and you just like push it over and turn it off.
I know the cheat codes for this robot to make it give me infinite ice cream. Yeah.
Up, down, right, left, right, A, B, C.
Yeah. Well, but it is
Sam Jr., why is our robot nanny wearing 400 pairs of underwear?
Yeah. So
they told me to, so I did it.
We'll go just like one small tangent further, and then we can go to our not sponsor maybe. But as a robotics person, there is a lot of conversation in the robotics community of just like, should robots look like people or should they look like a thing that is designed for the job it's doing? And I think a lot of people, myself included, think like there's no real good reason to make it look like a person unless you have a specific reason. So like
sex robot.
Exactly, yeah. I mean that could be one.
Thanks for calling out the obvious.
But like an example that came up like in one of my classes in grad school was just like let's say you have a search and rescue robot and you want it to be able to like get into a building and like the doors are all made for people and like maybe it has to operate a vehicle at some point or something like that. The vehicle isn't made for a person. So like
you should obviously make it look like Tom Selleck in Magnum PI.
Ideally, yes.
Just
Nailed
like
it.
ruggedly handsome,
right?
Just
yeah,
like I'm going to rescue these people.
Right.
Or just like Inspector Gadget.
Exactly. But I guess I could see the argument that a like nanny robot, it would probably be good for it to look like a person because like otherwise I don't know what happens to a brain's like a kid's brain. Yeah.
I mean, about Uncanny Valley and all that. So it's like, man, you got to really nail that.
Right. Do you know Uncanny Valley?
No.
It's this idea that like you can have things that don't look at all like a person and we're totally fine with it, like cartoons, that kind of stuff. And then you start getting more and more realistic and you get to a point where it almost looks like a real person, but there's just like something off about it. Like if you saw the movie Megan or like the trailers for it, like it's just like it looks like a person, but it's just wrong. And it really wigs us out. And so it's either like
sometimes it's
spot
just
on.
Make it totally not or perfect.
Totally perfect, yeah.
But the thing is like if you make it too perfect, like you could make everything symmetrical in it, but then that's where people aren't like that.
Right. That is also a bit Uncanny Valley. Yeah.
Even like your subconscious,
yeah, there you go.
even your like subconscious would look at that and you're like, and you're like, something's not about that is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, anything else about babysitters before we take a break?
I never sat on a baby. What are you talking about?
Cool. That's good. It's a healthy habit to maintain.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Great. Well, without further ado, we will move on to our not sponsors. Thanks for listening to part 1, and we'll see you soon for part 2.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Guy. I've been really wanting to listen to some heavy metal music, but every time I try to listen to music, it's jazz.
Oh boy, Guy, I have the same experience. When I put on the radio and I turn it to the head banging station, my head just won't bang these days.
It just won't bang. This is a huge problem. I wish that there was somebody out there, a band that we could listen to that would make us bang our heads.
That would be ideal.
Hello. My name is Sam, and I'm in a band called New Fiction. We are a heavy metal band made for banging heads. And you can listen to us anywhere you find music. Spotify, Apple Music, even on YouTube. Check us out. New Fiction Music. Thanks.
Good.
Sorry, it probably still worked.
Nice. Thanks, New Fiction.
Thanks, New Fiction.
We took like 2 minutes adjusting the microphone. Finish the ad. I'm down with it. All right. Welcome back to part 2 of this episode of Wax Nostalgic. We're looking forward to having some fun, intense conversations in this
I don't
next
get it yet
one.
because you haven't explained.
I say intense because we're going to be talking about camping.
I don't understand.
It's okay.
You're the pun daddy.
You'll figure it out.
What's a tent?
Yeah, it's like
you
what
pop.
happens in your pants when you're excited.
Oh, sweat.
So who wants to go first? Anyone want to talk about camping?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, so growing up in Colorado,
Oh.
camping has been a big part of my life, I think. We used to, I remember the first time camping, we had this Volkswagen van, like with a camper in it.
Was it like the stereotypical like bus type of thing, or?
Yeah, it was a van again, basically, but it had like a pop-up tent in the top.
Oh,
Cool.
And it was actually my first car in high school.
sweet.
One that I got to drive around, dude. We called it the Shaggin' Wagon.
Hell yeah.
Even though I never got any action in it.
Well, because it had a shag carpet, right? No.
Yes, exactly. It was from the early 80s.
Sounds like a you problem.
Right. The car was there.
Well, I was like, I'm like, nobody's going to bang me. I'm driving around this bang bus. Like,
Yeah.
Missed the
Sometimes
opportunity.
you want things too much. Yeah.
so anyway, this was before high school and everything. I remember it was like me and my mom and my dad, and we packed up the van again, and we went camping on this camping spot, and we had this little Shih Tzu dog, and dude, there was so much mud and dirt at this campsite, and all I remember is because this dog, like Shih Tzus have long hair. We called her a mop. She would just sweep stuff up.
Little mop dog.
So, dude, I've never seen her so freaking dirty, and
no.
she just immediately jumped out of the van and just started like picking up like dirt, mud, pine cones, needle. Just started like a broom. Just
Now, did she look proud of herself, like afraid or indifferent?
I think she was actually really like happy, like, oh
Nice.
yeah, look, I'm in like nature.
I
Like,
got
all
you
this new stuff.
gifts.
That's
Yeah,
right.
just rubbing, like, how dogs will just turn over and rub in like
Yep.
what appears to be shit.
I
or
love
whatever. So.
I love dogs.
Yeah.
Even small dogs, but I don't really love long hair dogs. They just get
Yeah.
really gross really fast.
Well, and it, for her,
Said the long-haired man.
Well, I keep myself clean though.
That's fair. Yeah.
for us, that was one of the things that was always a problem because with like those dogs, you have to groom them and on a regular basis. Otherwise, like they get matted, their fur gets matted, and it'll get matted all the way up to like their skin. And then it's like you have to like be very gently, either you got to cut it all off or shave it, but like if it'll like get up to their skin and it like starts pulling on it and stuff like.
Yeah.
So that was always a problem with her, is like my parents weren't the best at like grooming. regimen.
Yeah,
So
sure.
she was always like a mess, dude.
Yeah.
We saw a dog
And
the
also,
other
like,
day,
the hair-
Ryan and I, that had dreads.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you remember that big
Dreads?
dog? It was like a big ass dog that had just
Yeah.
it was all dreads.
Well, he also had a lot of bald patches. Like I think he might have had an injury and like had some surgeries or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah, he was looking pretty
it was
ratty.
not a good looking
Yeah.
dog.
It doesn't sound like it. Poor
But he was
thing.
striding proudly, proudly,
Pridely. Striding
striding
proudly.
proudly. Yes.
That's
Yes,
my new D&D character's name. Stratton Pridely.
So yeah, that was like the first time I ever remember going camping with my family. But then then we had these family friends that would always go. They would always they had like, I don't know if you guys remember like the conversion vans of like the 90s where you'd get in and they had these captain's chairs in the back and there was a TV in the center.
Yep.
Oh.
Had
And,
one of those that my band toured in for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
And it wasn't like a camper van, but I think the back seat like folded down into a bed if you wanted or whatever.
Mhm.
And then it had a slightly raised ceiling with like lights in it and stuff.
Mm.
So we would tour, and then they had a trailer, like a camper trailer.
Mhm.
So we would every summer for like 3 or 4 summers probably, we would my parents would be like, "We're getting rid of you.
Bye."
See
You're
ya.
going with these people." And you know, it was like 2 months, like a month maybe. I don't know, probably like a month of like travel.
Yeah.
So we'd travel around camping. I remember we went to Steamboat Lake a couple times, which was super fun.
Cool.
There was a creek in Steamboat Lake with a bridge over it, and somebody had a basket. And so what we did was we cut hot dogs up, put it in the basket, lowered the basket down into the creek.
Okay.
We waited for like 30 minutes or something, 20 or 30 minutes, raise it up, and there's crawfish
Oh.
just crawling on this basket, and
That's
and the
cool.
basket like captured them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
So one time we must have caught like 50 crawfish or like a bunch, like
Wow.
buckets full.
Did you eat them or did you?
We took them back. We had a
Nice.
crawfish boil.
Wow.
It
Pretty
was
cool.
actually pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's not my speed, but
Yeah, you know, honestly,
but
like
it's cool.
honestly, like I went to a crawfish boil recently, and they're a little too like lakey, like lake tasting.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Right.
like
Freshwater. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There's something about freshwater like seafood that I'm not super stoked about.
Fair enough.
I
Like
prefer the
fish as well.
yeah, you know, because I remember you know, I would catch like rainbow trout and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and even that's kind of like a little it has like a lake fish taste or
Sure.
something.
Yeah.
So but yeah, and then like, you know, learn how to like build fires and
Mm-hmm.
make s'mores, and one time I was going down the path from the campground to the lake, and I was like running because they had a canoe, so we would go canoeing around the lake, and like at some point I turned the corner and there's a giant ass porcupine like
Oh, shit.
walking across the trail.
Cool.
I've never stopped so quickly.
And that was where?
That was up at Steamboat.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Like
didn't.
up at Steamboat Lake.
I guess I didn't realize that porcupines were really like Colorado native. I
Yeah.
imagine them like Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different like environments or whatever you want to
Sure.
say. What do you call it? Ecosystems in Colorado. So
True.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a very regional thing or something. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and
It's
then
crazy.
one time we were camping, and me and my buddy, we used to ride our bikes. We brought our bikes right all over. And one time we were down by this river, and we spotted this bear
Oh.
and her cubs.
Oh wow.
And I've never like moved so quickly to get out. Like, you know, you hear about bears like mauling people and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
you didn't-
I'm like, that's a bear. We gotta go. And like, I've never ridden my bike so fast. I kept having visions while I was riding that the bear was just gonna come out of like the
Yeah.
brush next
Just
to
like
me and attack
all of
me.
a sudden
Yeah.
appear.
Who was faster on their bikes out of you and your friend?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm actually not
Because
sure.
you don't need to be faster than the bear. You know that whole
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
faster than your friend.
Right.
Hopefully you find a random stranger who is just recovering from leg surgery.
Right.
Whoops, sorry,
one can
guys.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one time we were fishing this little lake in Pitkin County. I think Pitkin. Anyway, and I caught like a trout or something. I caught a fish. I think it was like one of the first fish I ever caught.
Nice.
And then they're like, "All right, here's how you
gut it.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, we've already talked about my trauma with that in the previous episode.
I was like, I caught a fish. They're like, you got to clean it. I'm like, oh.
It's
this is
clean. It was in the water. Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
Is it just
Wait,
like
so you-
some Dawn dish soap or what?
Wait, so you're telling me I cut up from the butthole? Just gotta pull all this
Get the
shit.
fingers in there, rip it all out. Yep.
We have discussed that with my trauma. Why I don't eat
Yeah.
seafood is basically because of that. So
That is fair.
That was
yeah.
a very interesting experience for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I have tons of camping stories.
Nice.
I haven't really been. So then, like, when we got older, when we were teenagers, we used to go. Like, not me and like the family, but me and my friends would go camping, and like early 20s and stuff. And then, probably the last time. Man, I haven't been in a long time. Probably the last time I went camping was like 5 or 6 years ago. Mostly because I just feel like Denver or Colorado and the mountains and stuff are so crowded.
yeah,
Right.
Last time I went up to the mountains, like we were stuck in traffic on I-70 for
Yeah.
forever, like for
Yeah,
hours.
and then you go to some like designated campsite,
Yeah.
and it's just like full to the brim with people.
Well,
and-
we started going like off grid camping, like just in like national forest. But the problem,
Backyards.
yeah, exactly. Problem with that is like people have found all the spots that we used to go to that were all hidden. So
not
Anyway.
your backyard.
That's right.
yeah, my dad used to pop tents in the backyard too.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about
it's like,
backyard
I remember that
camping,
too.
but-
Yeah,
Nice.
that was always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any. Kind of all I got, really. I think.
Was
Cool,
the bear
that's
the
great.
scariest thing that happened, or did you ever like starve to death, or?
No, nothing ever.
To death?
I
All
don't
the
know.
way?
I'm trying to bump up the excitement a little bit. No,
I'm actually a ghost.
I figured.
Makes sense. I've only ever seen you in this room.
That's.
You've only ever seen me in this room.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true.
How did I invite you?
Well, he's not a vampire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
can
have.
come and go whenever I please.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan came up with this idea.
Right. We're like, I bet we can go to that abandoned office up there and just record a podcast
Nobody
dude.
will rent it out because some guy died up there years ago.
What
in
if
a camping
like
starvation
you
accident.
guys are freaking me out. What if this really is just like an
Purgatory?
abandoned like building,
Whoa.
and all of this is just a manifestation of my ghostly.
That would be. I mean, good for your ghost. You're really hustling.
Working your ass off, man.
Doing all right, I guess. It could be worse.
Oh boy.
How do I order stuff on Amazon if I'm a ghost? Doesn't make any sense.
Just need a
It's
credit card.
October, Halloween season.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Ghosts
The
and
veil is
ghouls and-
thinnest at this
Yeah.
time of year. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
thinnest.
Cool. Anything else for you, Graham Boy?
Nothing specific. I don't know. Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Would you like to go next?
I can go next. Sure. I'm gonna only talk about backyard camping. No, I'm just kidding.
It's basically
Sam already
me.
dibsed it.
Dibsed.
Dibsed. Yeah, no, I didn't grow up in Colorado mostly. We moved here when I was 16. But I have, a couple little experiences over the years. The first one, I'm just going to talk about crayfish. Crawfish, which one did you say?
Either one. Crayfish, I think, is like
Okay.
kind of.
Because the closest thing we did to camping, which was not camping at all, when I was a little kid in Australia, there's this farm that, once again, holes in my memory. I was a kid. I don't know how my parents knew about this farm or if they knew these farmers or what, but like we would go out there like once a year, something like that, spend a couple days, whatever, walk around, get to know the farm animals. But there were some little creeks there, and they had the crayfish,
Nice.
which in Australia are known as yabbies.
Yabbies?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, I think there's a restaurant right near Casa Bonita, which is called like Yabby Hut or something like that, which is the only place that I've seen Yabby referenced in this country before.
Oh my god, I think we actually, last time we went to Casa Bonita, we stopped in there for drinks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And you're right, it's like Australian, I think.
Okay, that would make sense.
I believe it is anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Casa Bonita, the iconic Denver restaurant for those listening globally.
Globally.
There
No,
are
it's
a
like
few.
a big deal here, guys. We should
Yeah.
do some. We should do a episode
Casa
about
Bonita
that.
episode.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Although you, oops, did you?
I've gone as an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
yeah, so yabbies. So I guess just to like make the contrast that you guys caught as many as you could and ate them. We caught like one each and kept them as pets.
You kept them as pets. Nice.
Cute.
Yeah. So
What'd
that
you
was
feed them? They'll eat anything.
little bits of fish. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was pretty young. But the first time I remember like camping, it was when I was I think 12 or 13 or something like that. I have a lot of family who lives in Minnesota. I think it's come up. And one of my aunts and uncles in particular, they and their children would go to the Boundary Waters, which is like the natural area between U.S. and Canada, on the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of lakes there, waters. So
Sure.
the Boundary Waters. So you can go up there. You get a permit to go in. You go camping. There's like a lot of little camping sites, that kind of stuff.
How were the bugs?
Terrible, as you might expect.
Yeah.
But you kind of get used to that if you spend time in Minnesota in the summer anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, so one time they were going and they just like invited my family to go. And my dad couldn't make it. He was working in England or wherever. No, I think we're in Japan already. So he was back in Japan, earning yen. And the rest of us went, and it was like, canoeing in and like, carrying the canoes like through different like portages, like over, you carry it between lakes, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And so we did, I don't know, 2 days in, 2 days camping in them where we stopped, and then 2 days out or something like that. But it was really cool. Like I had a great time, and honestly, I don't know why I didn't end up like camping a lot more after that, because it was just such a like, oh my God, this is actually a thing that people do, kind of experience. But I do remember like insisting on carrying one of the like heavier canoes through a long portage, because I was like, I can do this. I'm big and strong. I'm 13. And I got to like, I don't know, it was like winding through the woods, so you can't really tell how long it is. And I got, I think, very close to the end, and I was just like practically crying, and I was just like, somebody please take this thing off of my shoulders,
Oh, man.
because you just carry it like one person, like you balance it, But yeah, that was my first real camping experience. And then I'll just tag on one more camping experience, which I think is just a funny experience, where when I did move to Colorado, I think I was already in college when this happened, but it was my high school friends in Colorado Springs. I was back in Colorado from Minnesota, where I went to college, and we decided to go camping. So 2 guys had like off-road capable cars. So we're like, we're gonna like go down somewhere. I don't remember where we went. I wasn't planning it. I didn't pay attention. I was just in the car. But we it was like a lot more off-roading than we realized. So like my friend's Jeep that he brought, it was like a Compass. So like not like the really rugged off-roady Jeeps, but it was like a 4-wheel drive. So like by, massaging it very slowly, we could get across all these big rocks and things like that.
Yeah.
So it took like an hour longer to get than we thought. Parked in the parking lot. We're like, we're going to like hike in to the campgrounds, set up tents. We put on all our, all our stuff on our packs, like put it on our back, start hiking. Can't figure out where we're going. We ended up doing just a big loop and ending back up at the same parking lot.
You're like, all right, okay, let's go home.
Well, no, so I was like, hey guys, what if we just pretend that we hiked in and we're camping, but we're just camping here? So we just set up our tents in the parking lot, and we kind of made like a, gentleman's agreement that we wouldn't go to the cars for things.
Oh my God.
Nice.
And then in the morning, I'm going to say it was me. Maybe it wasn't, but it sounds like a dumb idea that I would have. I was like, guys, why don't we pack out as well? So we'll get all of our trash and things, and we'll walk the same route in the other direction.
Sick.
And one of my good friends still to this day, and one of the just most easygoing, like agreeable, nicest people you'll ever meet. This is the only time I've seen him like really frustrated. And so like the whole time we're doing this pack out, quote unquote, he's just like, this is such a great idea. This is my favorite thing we've ever done. I'm so in support of this plan right now.
Oh, just
Oh my God.
So
funny.
sarcastic. Yeah, it was very funny. But yeah, we camped. We camped. We're campers.
We camped.
yeah.
Yeah,
You did it.
did the thing.
Nice.
So yep, I've camped a couple times, but I'm not very good at it. But it's fun. That's the long and short of it.
Great. Is that it for you?
That's it for me. Yeah.
Cool. I will tell some of my tales. My family was not camping people. We
Okay.
never were camping people. So I didn't really have like a lot of childhood camping experiences that were like go out into the woods or whatever.
Mhm.
So a couple of times we did do some like backyard camping where we set up like the tent and me and my friends would like
Yeah.
be in the backyard, whatever. And one time I specifically remember we were camping in my backyard. It was me and a friend, a person that is likely going to maybe listen to this podcast at some point, so I won't mention them
Oh, you
by
should say
name.
their first name and last name.
But
Describe what they look like.
Yeah. What's their social security number?
don't know it. But
Are they man or woman?
man.
Oh.
It's my cousin.
Okay.
Oh.
But we were hanging
Hi,
out,
Sam's cousin.
Yeah, we were hanging out in the backyard and we were camping in the backyard, and I remember
Wait,
reading
how old were you?
Probably 10,
Oh, okay.
11
Okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
something like
Nice.
that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I remember like reading those like scary stories you tell in the dark books or whatever out there, and both of us being like kind of shaken and freaked out because they're like, oh, whatever. But this is maybe why I didn't want to mention his name. But I remember him telling me,
how many pairs of underwear?
So this is another underwear thing. I remember him explicitly telling me that he intended for his entire life to wear underwear that was several sizes too small, so that it would make him sterile, so that he could have sex without risk of having children.
Was he 10 as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
And him saying like, oh yeah, I always wear like size small even though I need a medium because I want it to cut off my stuff so that, not cut it off, but like cut off circulation so that I can be sterile so that I don't ever have to have kids. And that stuck with me so hard, and I was like, what the fuck? Like as a little kid, I'm like, that is really weird to think about right now.
That's creative.
I'm thinking of that right now.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you got to start when you're young. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to go play with my Transformers.
Yeah, I'm
or
gonna
something.
go
That's right.
inside and like,
You know
Game
how
Boy.
else to not have kids? Playing with Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be gay. I don't know.
Or
no, I don't know why
use
that was.
protection.
It's such a weird random like memory from that, but I specifically remember we were outside in the tent.
Sam's cousin Jeff,
Sure.
John,
Anyway,
Jimbo.
Jeremiah. I'm just assuming it's a J name. I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
nailed it.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that was just a weird random thing. That's just
Yeah.
an odd memory.
Yeah.
But actual camping.
That's the one.
Actual camping memory. When I grew up, I was a church kid, youth group kid, and I went to like a church camp thing that it was probably when I was maybe late middle school, mid middle school, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade in there somewhere.
12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went on a camping, like the camp was like a week long, and we stayed in these like cabins or whatever. But for 2 of the nights, they did like a thing where our small group and plus like some of the camp counselors or whatever, like hiked out into the woods and like did a hike and climbed out there, and then we had to like camp out there.
Yeah.
But they did like there's in my group of the same age boys, there's like 10 of us or whatever. So they had us build our own tents out of like tarps. We brought supplies like tarps and string and tape and whatever, and we had to build our own
Sounds
tents.
like a real Boy Scout type situation.
Yeah, it was very much like that,
Lord
but
of
it was
the Flies,
just
perhaps.
like, yeah. But so we had to build
the
our own
adults
tents.
Yeah.
And it was like a competition, like which group. There's 2 groups of 5 boys or however many.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we had a competition who could build the best tent. And then at the end, we didn't know this, but at the end, they made us sleep in the other group's tent.
Oh.
So we were like, oh, we did such a great job. Like, ours is way better than yours. And then they're like, okay, well, now you have to go sleep in their tent, and they sleep in your tent.
So was there like a biblical lesson?
I was going to say, there must have been a lesson behind
I don't
that.
really remember.
Like,
but
do unto others as you would have them build a tent unto you. Or
build a tent unto others.
Yeah.
build a tent.
I think I've read about that one.
Yeah, that's chapter 4.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's tent. Yeah.
1 Samuel, chapter 4.
Yeah.
But so I remember that, and it was like rainy. It was like rainy and even a little like snowy, like sleety.
I hate that.
And so we all had
Wait, was this a summer camp?
It was like I think it was fall.
Oh wow, because I was like,
yeah,
man.
I think it was like a fall time because I remember it being like really wet and cold, and we had to bring like the requirements were like bring like mummy bags, like the super warm sleeping bags.
Oh yeah.
That were rated to like X degrees or whatever, and we had to bring like
X.
however many that is in Celsius.
Twitter degrees.
But yes, Twitter degrees. But so it was like cold, and I remember they like the camp counselors, like the people that worked for the camp, like brought like all the cooking supplies, and then they like cooked us dinner over
They
like the
cooked
fire
you?
and stuff.
What did they make you?
I can't remember what the like entrees were. I remember they made these like little cinnamon roll bite things.
Was it like Lunchables?
that were super good? No, it was like cooked with pots and pans.
Oh,
and, like
that
they like
sounds-
brought all the supplies and had like their camping stoves and all
So it
that.
was like
Wow.
actual like good food, not just like
Yeah, I remember it
prepackaged
being really like delicious and being like, "What? You can do this not in a kitchen? Like you can just do this?" And they made these like little cinnamon roll things, which is really all I remember. But it was like
Yeah.
the dessert.
Was it like Pillsbury Doughboy, like pop the tube?
I can't remember honestly,
Okay.
but they were like really good. I remember
Yeah.
and they like cooked them on like the little camp
Nice.
stoveware and whatever, and they like made breakfast. They made like eggs and bacon in the morning and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And it was like, so it was, while we were in the elements, whatever,
We're
it was
really
still
roughing it
kind
out
of
here.
like
Yeah.
glamping in the sense that
Yeah.
we had like people cooking
Right.
for us.
You had a staff.
How long were you out
It
there?
was 2 nights.
Oh,
So we stayed for 2 nights. So we hiked out there day 1, stayed the night, like did whatever around there all day,
Read some
stayed the
scriptures.
night, and then walked
Mhm.
back. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was.
So did they bring like a cooler with them as well, or did you just like get through all the refrigerated stuff the first night and then have like jerky the next night or
I
something?
think it was they brought like a cooler. Yeah.
Nice.
It was like 3 dudes plus the 2 adults that were like our group leaders and
Yeah.
then the kids. So it was like, and they do this like that was their job. Is all
Right.
summer they just took out campers and did this. So I think they brought like each brought a cooler full
Yeah,
of shit. Or
that's pretty cool.
whatever. I don't exactly.
I've seen a lot of
know.
just like mixed messages. It's like you got to make do with what you got, and then you got to switch your things with other people, and then you got to eat a 5-course meal that we've cooked for you on.
delicious handcrafted meal.
I'm surprised they didn't teach you how to fish. Because
Yeah.
if you teach a man to fish, you can feed
Yeah.
him forever.
That is true. Yeah.
I did dodgeball instead of fishing class.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There
just
was
remember, like-
probably some fishing and stuff, but by that time I was like, I don't like fishing. So
Yeah.
We've already
yeah,
established
we've
that.
discussed this. But so that
Did they have archery or anything?
probably I don't really super remember.
You don't
it.
remember the activities?
No.
Really?
Not really. I do feel like there was some of that stuff where there was like, some arts and crafts, and then there was like if you wanted to go do fishing or archery or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that also happened when we were also out doing the camping thing, because that was something
Gotcha,
that you
yeah.
like didn't have to do. It was like you signed up prior to that. Like you didn't go to this camp and they're like, you have to go camping. It was like you signed up and said
It was
"This
just the
is
kids
part
that
of the
nobody wanted around.
experience."
They're
Yeah,
just like,
they're
we're gonna take you into the woods for a bit.
all right, Sam, you're all alone. Let's
That's right.
go,
You-
buddy.
Sam, you didn't make the cut.
Sam, we're gonna walk you out here, blindfold you, and you got to find your way back.
Yeah,
That's
good
right.
luck.
Here's a tarp, I guess.
You'll
yeah.
be stronger for it.
Yeah.
Here's a copy of Stephen King's The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Deal with it how you will.
Just
There you
follow
go.
the smell of 5-course meal.
That's right.
You smell that bacon? Yeah, that's not for you, but
That's right. But if one of them touches the ground, then I guess you can have it. Yeah.
yeah, so that was like really, I mean, as a younger person, that was like really my main like one real camping experience.
Yeah.
As an as a young adult, when I was doing the band thing, touring around the country and stuff, we did bring some like tents, and we would occasionally just camp places because it was just like more convenient to go to a campground.
Right.
When we were in the UK, we were in like the Lake District.
Oh,
if
nice.
you know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Lake District,
Mhm.
Ryan.
Yeah. I don't think I've been, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
But we were driving through there, and we were like looking for places to camp or whatever, and we ended up staying. This is as more of an adult, but it's a cool story. We ended up at this like hostel type place, but it was like closed for the season, basically. But the lady who owned it, we called and we're like, hey, we're out here. We don't have like the next closest place. Like, what's up? She was like, hey, I'm not there, but you guys can go, and there's like train cars out in the land,
Yeah.
and there's like 5 train cars set up,
Mhm.
and they're unlocked, and you can just go and you can light a fire and whatever. Like, I'm not there, I can't give you any amenities or anything, but if you guys need a place to stay, you can go sleep in these train cars. And so we like did, and it was super cool. Like, just like showed up, and there was like a bathroom, like a kind of like you would see at like a beach or whatever, where it's like you walked through, there's no doors, but you like walk through the little tunnel, and there was like a bathroom with showers and stuff. Like, it was a really neat place, but we just like brought some hot dogs or some weenies or whatever, and
Caught some crayfish. Yeah.
yeah, and just like lit a fire and just like cooked over the fire and just
Yeah.
like hung out and drank way too much and just camped out in these train cars. It was a really neat experience.
Sounds like
And
fun.
then wake up at like the crack of dawn because it was fairly hot and humid, and then just go
Yeah.
outside and it's just like rolling hills of
Nice.
UK,
Very
like just
beautiful, yeah.
green, lush.
Yeah.
Like
Where is that located as opposed to like in relation to say London?
I don't know.
I'm also
To
very
the
bad with
north,
directions.
Probably even to the north, I imagine.
Probably
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly I really
Perhaps
don't know.
to the west.
Yeah,
somewhere-
it's like
somewhere-
north, west,
some cardinal direction
east or
relative to
south.
London. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's kind of it's either like central or on the like outskirts.
Yeah.
So really, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay,
This
all
is a lesson for all you listeners to do your own research.
Do your own reason. Yeah.
Don't
Take a geography lesson.
don't trust anything we say. Yeah. Don't rely on us to do the legwork. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Lake District. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was beautiful. Absolutely.
Do you know what they call those like special protected park areas in the UK?
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna get the wording wrong, but it's something along the lines of like area of unusual, extraordinary beauty or something like that. It's just like super
America's
over
like
the top.
national park.
right. National park. Yeah.
Wait, what did you, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Exactly. Yeah.
League
They're
of
the ones who named it. Yeah.
Extraordinary people,
Beauty, yeah.
and places.
The
and
League of
things.
Extraordinary Beauty.
Yeah.
I got
So-
asked to be in that, and they, I turned them down because
The
I was
movie?
too busy.
Yeah,
just
'cause you were
the-
too
the
beautiful,
club,
yeah.
League of Extraordinary Beauty.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I guarantee you, if those train cars are still there in that format, it's an Airbnb these days.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
it's just a rusted
It was
up
like
mess.
kind of a hostel Airbnb type
Yeah.
deal already.
Yeah.
But she was like, I'm not there. I'm not going to charge you. You don't have to give me any money. If
Mhm.
you want to leave a few bucks in one of the train cars, like I'll go clean them out afterwards.
yeah,
you
she's like,
can, but-
leave a few bucks. I'll go to exchange them for pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she
She's
was like,
like,
it's the off season for us, and so normally she was
Mhm.
like, sometimes there's like a shit ton of people here and huge parties and stuff, but you guys will be the only people there. But if you need a place to stay, you can
Yeah.
go.
Sweet.
She's like sleep with one eye open
Yeah.
with a knife under your pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about axe murder?
Okay, sounds good.
That's right. Depends. Am I the one doing it or being murdered?
Could be either one.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, once you get in that situation,
right. Yeah.
you gotta defend
Sometimes you gotta
yourself.
murder before you're murdered.
True.
Yeah.
Bring BYOA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Murderer or murderee? That's the question.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's my camping stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like camping is one of those things that can be polarizing.
Mm.
By that I mean there are some people that absolutely hate it,
Totally.
Mhm.
and they will never. It's like the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
know people that like hate the beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
They-
I don't know if I've
oh,
ever
yeah.
met anyone.
Oh yeah, I've known several guys that like they just don't like it.
Huh.
They don't like the sand. They don't like having to like take their shirts off or whatever, or like just the whole general
You can,
idea
you
of
can
going to
swim
the
with your
beach
shirt on. I do it a
is
lot.
not fun.
Yeah.
And they don't like the sun. Like
I hate the sun, but there's sunscreen.
I know. I'm just saying.
Umbrella.
I'm just saying. I've met
Yeah.
several people who hate the beach, and I'm like, are you okay?
I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't say I hate camping, but like I have friends that are camping people that
Yeah.
are like, oh man, like even some of my siblings are like, we're gonna go out like every weekend and camp and do these things
Yeah.
and whatever, and I'm like, it's not. I mean, I'm the type of guy who like likes to be clean and I like to
Right.
shower
Yes.
and not be covered in bugs.
That is my
and filth
biggest
and
thing with
whatever.
camping is just like I just feel greasy.
Well, the one of the biggest things, like when you go off grid, you're way back in the brush.
Hmm.
You got to take a shit in the woods,
Yeah.
Mm,
and that's one of the biggest things where you're like, oh,
right.
this is not the most fun thing.
Yeah.
You're
That's
like
right.
you're bent over a log, and you're the most vulnerable you'll ever be.
I don't
You're
love
like
shitting
you're
in the
just
woods.
looking. You're literally looking around and like, all right, where's the bear? Or like, where?
Yeah, the
where's
bear also
where-
shits
That's
in the
right.
woods.
Where
That-
is
that's what they
something?
say,
I
yeah.
know something's going to attack me right now, but what is it? Like
Right.
you're like, I gotta hurry up.
Turns out it's anxiety.
Or just a hiker. What if a hiker just wanders?
Oh,
Grab
hey,
you.
man. Don't move. Blend in.
That's right.
Or
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So once you do that, you're like, okay, that's what.
Some people are built for it. I know some people who
Yeah.
are like, "Oh man, it's like the most like just carnal thing to just
Mm-hmm.
go out and take a shit in the woods and sleep and like what?" And I'm like, have fun. That's sick for you. I'm gonna stay here and watch Netflix and shower.
Right.
In the AC. And
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, the people who like do like multi-day camping, hiking trips and stuff like that, where you're like carrying everything and walking 12 miles and camping and walking. Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Sit here at home and eat my toaster strudel.
Right, exactly. I'm totally happy to just drive up to a campsite. Like,
Well, it's getting to the point now where like I camped in my car once years ago. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I even had a tent set up and everything. Like, nah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep in here.
So now if I go, I just like I don't even bother with a tent anymore, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting too I'm guessing I'm getting old, and I'm like, I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the last time I camped, it was like 3 months ago or something like that, and I definitely was just, well, I didn't bring a pad, which I should have, but
Like a sleeping pad.
yeah, like I had a sleeping bag, but it's just like on the bottom of the tent.
Yeah.
And I woke up the
It's
next
like-
morning, I'm just like, yeah, I can feel this these days, you know.
My family has property at the top of like Deer Creek Canyon,
Mm.
if you're familiar,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you're
sure.
in Colorado. So it's a beautiful property, whatever, but there is a cabin there, and it doesn't have like running water or electricity. There is a generator, so if like we needed electricity, we could have it, basically, but no running water or anything like that. But it's a huge property, and so in the past couple
Like
of years,
acres and acres.
yeah.
Ooh.
And in the past couple of years, like we'll go up there and we'll camp and everyone will set up tents and I will just sleep in the cabin. There's
Yeah.
like a bed in there and I'm like, you guys can all sleep in the cabin or in the tents and stuff. I'm gonna sleep on the bed.
All I'm hearing is we need to shoot a horror movie there.
It would be a
Dude,
cool
I actually
spot
have
for
some
it.
pretty good ideas for horror movies
Excellent.
that take place in the woods.
Yeah, it
Perfect.
would be a good spot for it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a really cool.
We'll
really neat
we'll
place,
talk
so
about we'll take that offline, guys. Yeah.
No, I think the people want to know.
Let's give them our script specs.
That's right.
Let's give them the spec.
Yeah. Fade in.
Yeah, star wipe.
Start. Okay,
Yeah.
never
American
mind.
flag wipe.
I don't want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like the star wipes? Is that where you draw the
I'm
line?
a true cinematographer, so you do your own thing, and I'll just go ahead and win myself some
Are you a cinephile?
awards.
Yeah, he's on the registry.
I had to knock on my neighbor's doors and tell them.
I love movies.
Yeah.
I fuck movies.
Do you have any movies in your house? Okay, because you're gonna want to watch me because I'm gonna be in there watching them. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the Goonies?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna goon over some Goonies, if you know what I mean.
That's right. We don't know.
Oh, you guys don't know what gooning is?
No.
Oh.
Let's talk about that offline as well. Did you guys have anything else interesting
That's
about
it,
camping
man.
that we should talk about?
No, we're off the
That's all I
rails.
got.
We're
Yeah, I think the train has left the
we're
station.
we're fully in the wilderness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. We should
Yeah.
ring it back in. Wrangle it back in.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank
right.
you all for listening to this episode. It's been
See you
another
guys.
fun one, and we'll see you
Love
next
you.
time.
I don't love you.
It's so nice to say.
This fan.
There are fans. Wax Nostalgic Podcast was produced and recorded at Black Dove Studios in Denver, Colorado. Audio post-production and engineering by Sam Bagnall. Video production and post-production by Graham Johnstone. IT and social media management by Ryan Kerwin. Check out this and other creative projects by adding to the noise at attnlab.com. That's attnlab.com.